Hello. It's a beautiful day today. I have decided to revamp my channel on here because my mission in life now is to empower women. I lived a very rough life that I brought on myself from age 18 on. In the last 5 years, I have completely changed. Completely changed. A complete 180. A full turn. Put my back to who I used to be. I want to help women who are in situations where as women, we go through so much. Like, we're expected to be the woman and the man. You know, back once upon a time, our mamas, our grandmamas further back, the men went out and they were created to be hunters and gatherers. And we took care of home. We provided a home, we raised the children. Now though, we gotta go get the bacon, earn the bacon, and come home and fry it. Like, we are trying to be everything for everybody, and then what about us? You're so tapped out by the end of the day, you just feel like there's nothing left. Like, for years, I lived in multiple uniforms. Once I got to the point where I could no longer work in nursing homes, I'm covered in arthritis, and I've had 2 strokes. So now I don't work at all. Now I've been blessed to work for the good Lord Almighty, but I'm not going quite there yet with you girls. I want to reach you as women right now, first and foremost. I didn't have time to do my hair, do my makeup. I lived in a uniform. I went to one job and worked the 8-hour shift. Would change my shirt because I wore the same black pants and shoes, regardless of what job I was at the time, and change my shirt and my hat before I got to the next restaurant or fast food establishment or whatever I was doing at the time. Even if I was leaving a fast food restaurant or diner or whatever and going to a factory. Throw on a t-shirt, keep that hair up in a bun, and go on to the next job. You know, I had, for almost 10 years, I had a full-time, a part-time, and a 1 day a week. The 1 day a week was on my supposed day off. And I did home health care. I would go and get the woman up, get her dressed, get her fed, get whatever handled for the day for her that she needed. Then I would go back that night and spend a couple more hours getting her undressed, washed up, in the bed, taken care of. You know, I got her started, and I helped her turn off for the day. And that was on my day off. But as women, I mean, most of us have felt... Got a couple notes over here for you girls. We've all been made to feel weak, like just totally beat down, abused, unimportant, neglected, abandoned, unimportant to anybody, unappreciated, used, unloved, unwanted, all the above, or one or the other at different times in our life. I'm gonna sip my coffee, y'all. It's hard to be a woman nowadays. Like I said, you're trying to be mama and daddy in most cases. And I really feel bad for you younger girls, because you got a whole different generation of men. I'm not here to man bash, but so many of these young guys just have no drive. They're looking for a mama. They're looking for a woman that's going to work hard, pay the bills, come home, cook dinner while they've been sitting there in front of the game all day. It blows my mind. One of the 2 most important things I could ever tell you, teach you, get across to you is, sister, learn how to love yourself. Don't let the standards of this world make you evaluate yourself desiring to look like somebody else. I say God's a glass blower. You know how you see the glass blower on TV? He takes that molten liquid glass and he blows it, and you have all different shapes and sizes. You'll have a long, skinny glass tube. You'll have a curly glass tube. You might have a short, rounder glass tube. God's glass blower. He made each of us perfectly on purpose. There is something different for everybody. Everybody's cup of tea ain't the same. Because the world says that a 110-pound starved to death bag of bones is beautiful, don't mean that this man over here finds that attractive. My partner in life, my old man, he's got a few family members that love a BBW, a big beautiful woman. Don't let the world fat shame you. Don't let the world's image. Half of these broads you see in these magazines are the pictures airbrushed. They've been nipped and tucked at the doctor's office. So yeah, these wrinkles here don't exist. And this saggy jowl, I'm 46 years old. That don't exist. These arms right here don't exist. You see a real woman, a woman that's a good woman. She's worked hard, raised some good kids, has a nice home to go and disappear to into away from the world at the end of the night. We have scars. We have battle wounds. And girl, you carry them with pride because that's the lessons in your life that's made you who you are today. I really would love for the younger girls to hip game these dudes. These dudes will play you 12 ways from Sunday. If that dude can walk off and leave you at the drop of a dime, he doesn't love you. A man that loves something, if you've ever seen a man that loves a car, he probably rubbed that car more than he did you. He wasn't going to let nothing happen to that. That was his baby. A pair of shoes. You see a dude, like my dude, he's a shoe guy, a shoe person. He loves his shoes. He takes very good care of his shoes. He's got some shoes that he's had since 2007, tennis shoes, Nikes, that barely look like he's worn them. They still look brand new. They look like he might have bought them a month ago, last week. A man that loves something is never going to be willing to walk away from it. I'm trying to get my camera right here. A man that loves you is not going to do something to intentionally cause you emotional and mental pain and distress. A man that's playing games with your head, a man that just wants to be able to emotionally control you, that's the one that's playing games with you. That's the one that wants to make you worry about him leaving. A man that loves you is going to make you feel secure in the fact that he ain't going nowhere come hell or high water. A man that loves you ain't going to cheat on you. Because once you get a little older, once you get some strength about you, and don't get me wrong, because in my 20s, I was a strong, hard-headed woman. I worked. I took care of my kids. My family left here when I was 18 years old. I did it on my own. So don't get me wrong, I ain't saying that young ladies aren't, but once you get some wisdom, once you've been around for a couple decades, you get to the point where you're like, no, because even when I was younger, when I met my old man, I told him, don't come to my table with an empty plate. I got kids to feed. You come to my table, you better have something to add to the dinner. Don't come over here asking me for money. Don't come. The one thing I want you young girls to get a hold of, don't let nobody drive your car. Don't let nobody, if it ain't your mama, not even your brothers, because anything can happen. That's the one rule I have stuck to firmly, completely. I don't care if my car wasn't but a $3,000 used car with 100,000 miles on it. Nope. Because the second somebody else hits your car and tears it up, because maybe that person, your brother, your friend, cousin, boyfriend, whatever, they ain't driving as cautious as you. They busy messing with the CD player, rolling the windows down, turning the radio up because they trying to be seen, even though they rolling in something don't belong to them. They're not going to drive as cautious as you are. And when they tear your car all to pieces, you ain't going to hear from them no more. They might even tell you, oh, I'm going to help you fix it. I feel so bad, blah, 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 blah. And that's it. And you sitting there struggling. You can't get to work. You can't get your kids to daycare so you can go handle your business and provide a roof over their head and the lights on, the water on, the gas on. Don't let anybody drive your car. I see so many young girls let these buckethead boys that ain't supporting them drive their car. That's the first rule. My daughter has a saying, I'm a one-woman show. And I've told her a couple times, baby, all women are a one-woman show. Until you find your husband, until you find the man that God made for you, that man is just a placeholder. These boyfriends and baby daddies, whatever they are in your life, that's a placeholder. They just occupying your time. What they really doing is blocking you from meeting Mr. Right. I have a friend, I tell her all the time, as long as you sit there and put up with and deal with Mr. Wrong, you preventing yourself from meeting Mr. Right. As long as you're focused on this joker over here that keeps hurting you and playing you and making life hard on you. And as women, we get it in our head like this. It's something wrong with all men. Truth be told, y'all, it's something wrong with all women. We have to grow into being who we end up being. I can look back on my 20s and even my 30s. Because I often say I didn't truly grow up till I was about 31. I was still getting in trouble. I was still making stupid moves that cost me dearly. And I'll be the first one to admit it. But now that I'm 46 years old, I know that I know triple, maybe even quadruple, of what I thought I knew in my 20s. And even with my grown kids. I said, why? I don't want to ever be able to say I told you so. I wish y'all prove me wrong. And don't let me get to the point where I get to say I told you so. For real, for real. I was always the type like my second mama. Mama Sylvie. I sucked up every word she ever told me of advice because she's my elder. She's been alive longer than me. She knows more than I do. But for some reason, and I was the same way, a lot of times people be talking to us, trying to tell us something, and we're like, I know, I got this, I know exactly what I'm doing, I don't need you to tell me. No, you don't. If there's a woman that's 20, 30, 40 years older than you trying to give you a word of advice, baby, listen, soak that up. Turn your ears on high volume and soak up that word of knowledge. You see these grays? All them grays up in there? Ooh, my hair, my part crooked as a dog's hind leg, but that's alright. Look at the grays. You don't get gray hair from sitting around the house eating bonbons watching TV. Especially, I've had grays in my head since I was in my late 20s because life was rough. And I want to be able to educate you girls and hip you on to some game from an older woman, a more seasoned woman. So you don't have to fight all the battles that I fought. You don't have to have all the struggles that I had. What you need to do first and foremost is learn to love yourself. Learn to love exactly who God made you. Sorry about that. Trying to think. When you look in the mirror, come get up, take you a shower, do your hair, put you a little makeup on, even if it's just foundation and powder and a little mascara. You don't get me wrong, get the cake and all that stuff on there and be looking like Rosa the Clown. Put a little bit of something on, put you some perfume on, a blouse, a top that you think is pretty. It makes you feel pretty when you put it on. Walk up to your mirror and say, hello, beautiful. Do that every single day. I see so many women running around in pajama pants with their hair twisted up in a knot on top of their head. When I don't look good, when I walk past the mirror and I look like who did it and ran, I don't feel good. Generally, if a day goes by that my hair ain't combed, at least, at minimum, it may not be all dead up like this is yesterday's hairdo, y'all, but it's still holding on, so I'm alright with it. It's twisted up in a French twist sort of jobby in the back. But at least comb my hair and put my foundation and powder on and some mascara, maybe a little bit of lip gloss, a little body spray or perfume. When I walk past the mirror and I look decent, I feel better. If I'm sick, is when my hair ain't combed, I don't give a rat's hind end what I'm looking like. And I generally will feel better the day that I get up and comb my hair and wash my face and put on clothes and take my doggone pajamas off. Coffee bean queen. Yes, you are a queen. In my spirituality and my being a believer. I know that my Father, the Bible says, owns cattle on 1,000 hills. My Father is the King of Kings. That makes me a princess. Sister, that makes you a princess. But until you get to know him, you ain't going to grasp onto that. Let me show you my notebook a second. And I believe this with my whole entire heart. Real queens fix each other's crowns. We don't sit around and talk about sisters. Gossip, one woman putting another woman down just burns me. Oh, it burns my britches. It annoys my soul. Don't put the sister down. Ask the sister if she needs some help. You need a ride. What's going on? And bottom line, can I pray for you? Let me give you a hug. You're beautiful. We are sisters. We have got to learn to lift each other up and quit being each other's downfall. Women have gotten so comfortable in bashing one another. And that's a whole nother video. That's a whole nother ball of ridiculousness. But you gotta learn to love yourself. You gotta realize that you deserve to be treated with dignity and respect and care and appreciation. And if that man that's in your way right now can't do it, well, get him up out your face. If you got kids, your babies will love you. Take care of them kids. Take care of that house. Make him a good meal. My baby, every time I cook for him, he's a little chunk of lump. My youngest one, he's 9. I don't care if I bring him home a McDouble from McDonald's or I make a 4-course meal. Thank you, Mommy. He's always appreciative. What I really want to get to the heart of all women is knowing your worth, first of all, and second of all, setting boundaries that you don't allow people to cross. I spiritually counsel women. I spiritually minister to women. I teach a women's Bible study. And the one thing I encounter more than anything else is these ladies who have, for the sake of love, allowed themselves to be treated less than. Me and my old man, we split here a little ways back. Now, he's a man of God, but he got caught up in the schemes of the enemy. He got caught up in his flesh. When me and him met, y'all, we were both hustling the streets. My second family, I'm the only white woman in it. We was hustling the streets. We met in the projects. I'm hustling, he's hustling. Two totally ratchet individuals. Both of us had kids by multiple individuals that we were not married to. And then when I had the 2 strokes, the way the Lord came to me, our lives completely changed. And he knows that I will not get off the path of following my Lord and Savior. And he knows me. He knows if I know I'm right about something, it's not open for discussion. You ain't fixing to argue with me about it. You ain't fixing to change my mind. If there's a shadow of a doubt that I'm wrong, I'll talk about it all day. To whoever wants to show me how and where I'm wrong and correct me. I feel like this. If I'm wrong about something, somebody correct me and show me what's right so I don't look like a fool out there repeating it wrong again. But if I know I'm right 100%, ain't no changing my mind. I told him, that going back to drinking and hustling, not in my house. Me and my house serve the Lord. Let me show you. See them 3 circles? The top one's a cross, the second one says blessed is home, and the third one says Joshua 24:15. As for me and my house, we serve the Lord. I'm telling him, now we done raised a couple of different generations of kids. His oldest kids, one that I got as a teenager, but he was a little too far gone by the time I got him. He's in prison. Another one's in the courts. Another one has different addictions and alcoholisms. Then we have my adult children. My daughter was raised by my mother and father. I was 18 years old when I had her. And our family, though, I'm mommy, that was nanny and papa. It was never a complete disconnect. But I lived in Ohio, they lived in West Virginia, so we didn't see each other a lot. My 2 boys, who are one's about to be 20 July 1st, and the other one's 22. They're good boys. They work hard. They earn a decent, honest living because they seen two parents that went to work every day. And I try to tell these younger people, you got to watch what you allow your kids to see, because you could teach what you know, but you reproduce what you are. They absorb it whether you realize it or not. These children seen two parents go to work every day and make it, not living in low income housing, paying $650, $700 a month and all the bills on a McDonald's salary when McDonald's was only paying me $8.50 an hour. See, when I was a nursing assistant, I made plenty of money to pay those kind of bills. Life got a lot harder when my body gave out on me. But you don't want your kids to see you allow yourself to be disrespected, allow yourself to be mistreated, allow yourself to be taken for granted, allow some joker to call you out your name. Because what you are raising is young men that are going to treat women that way. What you are raising are young ladies that are going to allow the same kind of abuse in their household. Girls, I don't care how much you love somebody. I don't care how much you love somebody. You can love them till the doggone cows come home. If you... Okay, this is what I say. A man can only put you through what you allow. We need, as women, we have got to set standards for ourselves and adhere to them. And I messed up for a long time because I loved him so much. Praying, God, please, 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 replace, one of your promises is replace a heart of stone with a heart of flesh with your word written on it. I'm taking you up on that promise. But nobody can change somebody else. That's between them and the good Lord. The only person you could change is you. And I told him when it got to that point, I'm like, you know what? I tell you, I stand by you through anything but another woman. It happened. I draw a line in the sand. It happened. I step back and draw another line. He cross that one. I step back and draw another line. Honey, if there's no consequences, what is the motivation to change? You tell him 100 ways from Sunday, I'm not putting up with you. And then he do something, get to cussing you out, calling you names, coming in drunk, paycheck completely gone. He ain't put nothing in on nothing. Not a bill, not a meal, not nothing. And you allow it. In that joker's mind is, the next week come along, he get paid. The boy's like, oh, come on down with us to the club. Come on down here to the spot. Let's have a couple of drinks and get some wings. Now, he know he just played you last weekend and didn't put nothing in on the bills, didn't bring nothing home to contribute. But in his mind, he's like, well, she was mad, but she wasn't that mad. She didn't put me out mad. Here I come. Same thing. 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, he come rolling in drunk as a skunk. Hopefully your babies is in the bed and don't see that mess. Ain't got a nickel to put on nothing because either he drank it, spent it on some other broad that was sitting there in his face, lost it, a combination of all the above. As beautiful, young, strong, intelligent women set boundaries and adhere to them. It hurt me more than anything in this world to have to tell the person that I've been in love with for almost 2 decades, don't call me, don't text me, don't come over to my house, nope, you can't don't you bring them demons in here on me and these kids. Like attracts like. Per Tony Gaskins. I love me some Tony Gaskins, y'all. He taught me a lot. Like attracts like. And if I allow that in my house, where we're supposed to be serving the Lord, the longer I'm around it, the more I'm going to end up doing something I ain't got no business doing. Either one, I'm going to get too comfortable and get to drinking, drugging, something else because that's what's going on around me. You see it too much, you're involved in it too much, and if you're not strong in your spirit and in your faith in the Lord, our flesh is weak, y'all. Our flesh is weak. Oh my goodness, is it weak? All sin feels good. All sin seems like a great idea at first. Turns out to be a big catastrophe. But it's hard to not get trapped up in that. I can't help but to preach a little bit. The word says, don't be conformed to the ways of the world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind. If I'm out living in the world and the people that I'm spending most of my time with is living in the world, I'm going to end up living in the world too. I quit smoking weed January of 2018. I quit taking pain pills August of 2017. If I get to hanging around nothing but people smoking weed, I'm going to end up smoking weed. Eventually, I'm going to hit it. It's just, our flesh is weak. It just is. We were made of dust. I don't care how strong-minded you think you are. If you put yourself in that predicament for too long and in too many situations, eventually you're going to fall short and it's only going to get worse. It's only going to get worse. I want you guys to realize, if you say, look here, if you talking to another woman, having an emotional affair, if you cheating, I ain't messing with you. No, you don't come back around here, but you have to stick to it. You can't, he's not looking at you as the ride or die. He's not looking at you like his backbone. She holding, what you are is a woman that loves a man, and it's killing you, and you don't want to put up with him, but you also don't want your family to fall apart. It's a very hard decision to sit on when, in my case, there's 15 years, a couple of kids, we done raised a gang of kids together, to just flush all that down the toilet and keep it pushing.